Alright, so your Kihon Waza assumes a particular mind. Okay? It's a particular mind. You're going from out of range to within range, depending on what your energy cue is. So in this case, Katata Dori, you see? So if I bend my arm like this, I have a Katata Dori like this, you can hit me with the other hand. Do you see? So there's a particular range, and where Katata Dori becomes viable, but then going past Katata Dori, other things become viable. Okay, so I did this on my Katata Dori, then you can see I'm in another viability range. The same thing can happen to him. If he bends his arm on Katata Dori and comes in with a bent arm, then it's viable. You see that? So he has to stay in the sweet spot of Katata Dori. Okay? Do you understand? Right. Okay. The same thing goes on here. If I launch my attacks from out here, they're not viable. I have to get to that sweet spot where I launch my attack. So it's going to be outside of his lead weapons, usually. So his lead jab, so in other words, don't move. If I walk in and I launch my attack from here, you won't ever do it because you're going to get jabbed, boom, in the way in, okay? Or even the front kick, could be front inside thigh, could be groin kick, same thing, you walk in, oh, boom, and done, okay? So I have to find the sweet spot because if I'm too far out, nothing works, he just moves out of the way. He just moves out of the way. You're just chasing the guy in the hole. So I'm learning a dynamic mind. Katata Dori is a static mind. Where is not too close, not too far, just right. Well, it's where that wrist grab becomes viable and other weapons have not yet become viable. So same thing here. So I find that sweet spot. Well, you can't jab or anything because he would have to close the gap, and then boom, I have the same openings. Okay? Do you understand my first objective? Feel out where I'm here, and then when I get there, that's when I'll go boom to my things. What things? We want to work this grab. We want to work a guy that is trying to stuff us, trying to hold on to us. Okay? So I get to there. He could be dancing around. It doesn't matter. You're going to see that I get to there. I get to that sweet spot and then come in. And then we want him to work on his movement, his deviation. Okay? I'll do this drill incorrectly. That was correct. So here I am. He's not allowed to hit me because I want him to work on his movement. So I start milking that as uke. That would not happen if I gave him back his strikes. Or I go from here and I go, all you would have to do is take one little, we're going to do this all day. Because there's no commitment. Okay? Maybe I do a little bit of commitment, he deviates, and I go like this part here was not my job. My job was to press. So he keeps working his deviation. I'm not fighting him, I'm training him. Okay? So I get to that spot, and then I go, and I get him. He has to be the one to deviate. Okay? Let's go. So starting static is beginner stuff. Okay, beginner stuff. Like out of the beginner training scar, you think it's he goes and I go. That's what happened. He goes, then I go. Then you think you wait for him. Now this isn't working. This has no martial viability. Okay? It's just a mechanical puzzle. This has no martial viability. You don't wait for the attacker, your success goes way down. So once you start going, that's more, you're getting there. he might not even get the grab once we start working at higher levels of Kimon-waza. Never this. We're already moving at each other. Boom, I'm already moving into the technique, okay? Well, the same thing here. So I'm not going to wait here till he gets in that range, and then I'm going to launch my attack. Your success goes way down. What? In terms of what? In terms of size, athleticism, weight, strength, it goes way down. So maybe if I have strength on him, he goes, maybe I can get it, but bigger, stronger, I'm not going to get it, okay? In the same way that he never really gets his grab, because I'm already moving, he never really gets his grab. I'm just matching his intention. It's the same thing here. As he goes in, I was already matching his intention. So he might get something. It's much easier to now defend against that something of a failed attempt versus your imaginary self-defense if-then. Okay? So as he goes, I'm already moving. I have to read his body. Already moving. Move. Second is in his mind. I'm already off that line. Then whatever he might get is now lesser. It's a lesser thing. Okay? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Okay? I can do the same thing as we move. Boom! You see? He didn't get a successful thing. I still got a knee kick in. Okay? Alright, try it again. Don't sit up and wait. Okay, so we're micro-drilling that rush. Okay, we're micro-drilling that rush. If there's no rush, because he's just coming in slowly, right? Boom! And that's yin energy, so your yang energy has space to operate. Okay? If he's coming really slowly again, you can just. He's never going to get there. Okay? Another thing to think about is after he does his, let's say he does this first one, I'll move out of the way, and now he goes slow again. Boom! Same exact thing. Do you see? So you have to train in, hey, this attack is viable. I get to my range, right? And I'm in. That is a viable attack. It's as viable as short. Boom! Same thing. Viable. Okay? This is not viable. Got it? Nor is I do one, he deviates, and now I'm back here again. We're gonna hook you. We're gonna right hook you, left hook you. Okay? So as you do your thing, treat it as a viable attack. So you're here and you go. You're not half-assing it after they deviate. See? He's going to hit you again. So I do that, and he's going to hit me. Boom! That's how you would address that. Okay? So your attack is viable because it's violence of action. It preoccupies him. Even if he wanted to jab with me running in, it doesn't do what a normal jab does. Okay? Do you understand? It gets jammed, it gets glanced. I'm still in, I still got the body. So just make sure after you do your viable that you're not here because you killed the drill. Okay? Try it again. Okay, in Kimon-waza, your movements create patterns. Okay, so like last night's technique, he's coming in and we're over here. And this is all spiral. So spiral. Spiral. Movements are all So in your overall macro movement, it's not going to be straight lines. I'm not going to go like this. It's not going to be a straight line. It's not going to be this way either. That's now a straight line. So we go, and I go, this is a straight line. 5, 7, don't do what you think it's going to do. Okay? So 7 doesn't do it. 7 doesn't. I'm on a straight line. That's why it's Idimi Tenkan and not just Tenkan. You have to get yourself near, if not on the other side, of where he's at a macro level going to start rotating. Okay, so as we go, you see I'm over here. Then the fight's going to rotate. You see? And it'll keep rotating with his energy. So if he continues his movements, I'm going to keep it rotating. I'm going to avoid this. And I'm going to avoid these diagonals. I'm going to avoid these diagonals. This fight is always rotating. Rotating, rotating. Okay? Got it? Okay, let's bring the rotation in now. Go. Just as if he was throwing a punch combination, boom, boom, ah, okay? I would not go like this. Okay? My hands stay where they are, right? My hands stay where they are. So same thing, as he's going for this grab attack, I'm not going like I'm not going like this. I don't move what does not have to move. Okay? So we're going, he goes, my hands don't move. He goes, my hands don't move. If I don't need to move them, I don't move them. Okay? They're always in an offensive ready position. If you're clearing hands unnecessarily, they're not in an offensive position. Okay? So on that last one, did you feel it? He got a lot of lat. It's very tempting to knock it off. You see? But it'll come off with movement. And I get to keep my hands there. Okay? So reading, spiraling, hands don't move. Okay? Let's try it again. So I still haven't, there's still no need and no advantage to trying for a throw yet. Okay? Start the fight rotating. Keep your guard up, ready to go. Punish anybody that goes too slow, creates any yin space, punish them. Now, there's something about the spiraling geometry. You're going to generate a lot of centrifugal energy, okay? And I will use that before I start clearing limbs, okay? So we'll slow it down so he can kind of get it, right? So we're over here, see, it's a pretty good hook, you see? And before I start clearing this limb or doing anything with it, right, I'm gonna just keep using the centrifugal energy. So we were going this way, do you see? So I use that energy to get it going. If he gets even a better grip, I'll come on the inside a little bit, you see? The fight is going this way, right? He thinks it's gonna go this way. You see that? That's what he's gonna do. But I'm not gonna do that. So his energy goes like this, and I keep it spinning. Keep it spinning. And you'll see, gradually they start to loosen their grip, okay? Keep that fight rotating. So we'll go, keep it rotating before you do anything. I'm going around, keep it rotating before you start dealing with his limbs, okay? Try it again. Okay. I still want to take away the advantages in his offense, okay? The next one is internal. This makes the world of difference, okay? So let's say we're gonna just demonstrate it mechanically, okay? So push, you see? And what we have to do now is cause a deviation, an external deviation, you see? And he's gonna push, and I'm gonna relax, you see? I'm gonna relax, and he will not have the ledge that we usually give him, because when you push on what's pushing on you, you create friction, that gives him the leverage that he needs, okay? Then you have to understand the psychology of what's going on, is when we go back in the drill, what happens is, as I feel his offense, and I freak out, and I start pushing back, and feel your head clench, watch what I'm doing to it. I just locked it in place, you see? So, as we go, we might have to do this a little bit more dynamically. I'm going to be very relaxed, and I get very slippery, okay? As opposed to, I go and tense like this. I have to relax. We're going, you get slippery. Release, boom, slippery, slippery. I feel, oh, and my body wants to clench, but my training goes release. And then he loses the hooks, okay? All right, so let's bring that in. Okay. If you look at your Kihon, that is your strategic concept. So if we take the technique again from last night, and I come around here, you see, there's this balance, you see. There's non-contestation, and there's this balance, and that's where I find the throw. I don't try that technique like this. See, that's not going to work, okay? So, same way here. A guy that's perfectly balanced and he's coming in, you're not going to go and do your kokunagi. You have to figure out, how do I dynamically create all that disadvantage that Kihon already assumes is taking place. Okay? So, these are the bare basics that I have to do, and we took out the strikes to specialize on these basics. Okay? The strikes do a lot in this realm. Okay? So, we'll see where it'll come up, because if you get really good at that, this next part, you don't even have to do the throws. But that's where we would do the throws. Okay? So I'll screw it up. Okay, so he's going, he keeps going, yep, he keeps going, he keeps going. And that's where I find Kaiten Nage. You see? At that point, as opposed to Kaiten Nage here. Kaiten Nage is not going to work there. Okay? And Kaiten Nage is not going to work either. Let's do it again. Give me a high one. Kaiten Nage is not going to work here. It's not going to work here. You get his body in position as you're going. You see? See it? We go. Same thing. Go. We turn this way. You see it? Watch. Do it again. Turning right here. Okay? That's where you'll find Kaiten Nage. Okay, so you're going to do the same drills. Relaxing, go spiraling, loose. And it's his aggression that keeps it up. And instead of flexing and muscling, yield, Kazushi pattern, project. But the whole time I'm trying not to do it.